Here I want to take a look at how we can bring out some of our highlights. Here's how we'll do this. We're going to click on our adjustment layer icon, and then we'll go to curves, and we're just going to create a quick brightening curve. Then we'll go to the mask panel. In the mask panel, we're actually going to choose color range, and what I want to do is click on one of the highlights. I'll go ahead and sample it here. You can see that I'm able to snag a little bit of a highlight, and then I'll shift click to try to get a bit more of that highlight there, and you can see that on the arm there and there. Next, click OK. Well, what we've just done is we've built this mask based on these highlights. Now, right now, I'm aware that this doesn't look very good at all, but we can get this to look good, and here's how. All that we need to do is to increase the feather so that we have this highlight which starts to track along that edge. Now, as I increase this feather, you can see that the skin looks to become more and more soft. We can also grab our brush tool. Here I'll paint with white at a little bit of a lower opacity. I'm just going to extend this highlight. I'm just going to paint along the arm here. You can see I'm bringing this out. I'll go down along this area of the arm as well. So I started off using the highlights that were there, and then I'm adding my own. I'm bringing these highlights out even further in order to kind of exaggerate this type of a look even more. So we'll just go through here and work on some of these highlights. We'll just bring these little highlights out in a couple of areas. And the nice thing about this is we can control the softness of these highlights. We can also double click the curves adjustment. We can figure out how bright we want to make those. Sometimes it's fun to add a little bit of color into the highlight. Here I'll add a little bit of red there. Also go to the blue-yellow channel, add a little bit of yellow. Not too much yellow though, and then brighten those up even more. So I have this golden type of a highlight. There's that before and then after. Now, it doesn't always work to select the highlights, but sometimes what you'll find is that it will work well to have those highlights selected in order to add to this overall surreal type of aesthetic. Last thing we want to do is, of course, just make sure our mask is in good shape and that we haven't affected the image in any way that we don't like. And I think for the most part, this is looking pretty good here. I'm just going to mask out a few little areas here just to make this scale back just a little bit. And I'll go ahead and just paint through this with a low opacity, just trying to diminish my highlights just a touch. Again, trying to find just the right spot. Here's that before and then after. Well, another way that we can add to this dimension is to create another curves adjustment. Click on your adjustment layer icon, choose curves. Here we're going to go ahead and create a darkening curve. Invert your mask. Do you remember how to do that one? You press Command or Control I, or you go over to masks and here you choose invert. Next, let's zoom into the shadow area. Grab a brush, paint with a real low opacity, 10-20% or so. And let's paint with white. We're just going to paint along these shadows here. And by painting along the shadows, we can bring out some of this dimension. Bring out some of the cheekbones there, some of the dimension in the arm, and I'm just going to bring that darker edge out. So we're not only bringing up the brighter edge, but we're also bringing up the darker edges that we're seeing throughout the photograph. And this can help to really add to this almost surreal type of look in regards to the skin here. And I'm just going to go through here and look to darken some of these areas up. Here's before and after. I'm darkening a little bit less than I'm brightening, but the overall before and after definitely carries with it a different type of a glow. All right, well, we're making some great progress with this image. Let's go ahead and continue to work on this one, and let's do that in the next movie.